Okay, Bob, you've convinced me. How do I get started? We're going to talk about that today. Hello, everyone. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Today is January the 31st. It's the last day of the No Excuses January Walking Challenge. And as you can see, I'm not wearing near the layers that I have been. There is still snow on the ground. It's not melting off. It is melting, but it's not gone yet. But it's 48 degrees today. What an amazing day for the last day of January. This is actually Monday, but you guys will be seeing this on Wednesday. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. If you're wondering what's going on, basically you're watching me walk. The interesting part about all this is that 20 months ago, plus some change, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand up without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day and doing plenty of other things as well. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means a lot to me that you choose to spend just a few moments of your day with me. But I'd like all of you to help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 60 years old, and I'm doing things that I couldn't do when I was 40. Like being out here walking every day with no excuses. You can go back and watch some of the other stuff, some of the other videos from January. I certainly struggled with a lot of it because it was really cold and nasty for most of the month. But today is a really good day to finish things up. So why don't you go ahead and give me a thumbs up, drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. All of these things that are absolutely free help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. But let's go ahead and talk about how to get things started, because I'm not going as far today as I've been going the last few videos, because as I said, today's Monday. You guys are seeing this on Wednesday. But tomorrow is dance class, so I don't want to overdo it and end up being sore or tired for dance class. So I think I'm just going to do one lap today instead of two. So how you get started? Now, as Professor K talks about, we want to make sure we do a proper transition. It'll take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Take your time. There's no rush. You've been sick for how many years now? Another few weeks isn't going to make a huge difference. The first thing I would do, because I think one of the worst things for us is vegetable seed oils, go ahead and throw all those away and start cooking with butter, lard, ghee, tallow. Even coconut oil is a better choice. Get rid of all the vegetable seed oils and do that for a little while. The reason I'm talking about transition is that I don't recommend doing it the way I did it. I was standard American diet one day and carnivore diet the next. And I had an extended period of bathroom issues that were, shall we say, sudden and explosive. And we'll just leave it at that. So now that you've got all the seed oils out and you've started cooking with good fats, now go ahead and throw away anything that has added sugar. All of the processed foods, cereals, you name it. Anything that comes in a box or a bag or a package that has an ingredient list on it, go ahead and get rid of those. And continue on for another week or so. Get rid of the processed foods, so of course you're going to have to replace them with something else. This is where I recommend upping your meat. Start eating more meat and its associated fat with your food. You know, if you're a big fan of chicken, make sure you're cooking that chicken in lard or butter or ghee or any of the other healthy fats so that you up the fat content. So what we want to do is slowly reduce the processed crap we're eating and replace it with real food, primarily fatty cuts of meat. Now that you're getting there, go ahead and start reducing the amount of grains that you're eating. Grains, seeds, pastas, breads, anything with corn in it, anything made with flour. Just get rid of all of it. And now you're basically there. Have I forgotten anything? You've gotten rid of the seed oils. You've gotten rid of the processed foods. You've gotten rid of things with added sugars. And now you're going to eliminate all the stuff that turns into sugar in your body. And again, you're going to do this over 4 to 8 weeks. Like I said, there's no rush. You've been sick long enough. Another few days isn't going to hurt you any. That wind is a hair cooler than I thought it would be, but I'm not wearing my hat today because I got really hot wearing my hat yesterday. As you saw, I had to take it off halfway through the walk. And now you're ready to do a carnivore journey. You don't have to do a lion diet like I did, which is just beef, salt, and water. Have eggs, have pork, have chicken. Make sure you're adding some fat to your meal with chicken. Perhaps look up anybody's recipe on brown butter bites and have a few of those with your chicken meals. Pork, as long as you're buying, getting the pork butts or any of the fattier cuts of pork, bacon, of course, any of those things will have plenty of fat in them. If you're doing more of a lean cut pork chop or something, you'll want to add some fat to those as well. Seafood is great. Salmon is a very fatty fish. If you don't like salmon and you're having other types of fish, again, make sure you're cooking it in good fats and maybe even adding some butter to all of your meals. It doesn't have to just be red meat. Now, I believe, as Professor K tells us, that roughly 80% of our diet should be fatty red meat, and the other 20% should be all of the other things. If you like cheese, you can have some cheese. At some point, you're going to have to do the experiment to see how your body reacts to cheese. But you don't have to start off with that. You can keep cheese in. Lunch meats, hot dogs, Vienna sausages, all that stuff. That's what I started with. Finding a hard angle to keep you guys at. But yeah, you can basically any animal product. It doesn't have to be just red meat. Now, at some point, I would like everyone to do 45 to 90 days of just the lion diet, which is beef with its associated fat, or any red meat. It doesn't have to be beef, depending on what part of the world you're in and what you have access to. I'd like you to do the ultimate elimination diet of beef with its fat, salt, and water. One, just to see how you feel, and then two, as you slowly add stuff back in, you'll be able to tell what different foods do to you. You know, I see a lot of stories, N=1 experiments out there where they're like, man, I just didn't feel good eating eggs. But then I tried doing just the yolks, and I felt great. Other people will say, well, I've done a lot of pork. I cut that out for a week, and I feel better. Or chicken or seafood, you know, whatever it is, you're going to want to eventually do an elimination diet to where you're just eating beef with its fat, salt, and water. But you don't have to start there. Start with whatever carnivore foods keep you from running to the cupboard and grabbing a cookie. Now, if you're like me and don't share the house with anybody, you can just throw all that stuff away. But if you have kids or a spouse or anybody that shares the pantry with you, they might object if you throw away all their cookies. So, just, you know, make sure you're eating plenty of stuff that keeps you from getting hungry. And the first few weeks of carnivore, don't worry about OMAD or 2MAD or 3MAD or intermittent fasting or any of that kind of stuff. Just eat. Eat all the good foods that are carnivore approved and keep eating those foods. Stuff yourself silly if you want. Get your body adapted to eating